Hi, this is George Alger with another episode of Our Ventura TV. And today we're going to be speaking about racing. And we have Jim Naylor, who is the owner of the Ventura Raceway, to speak about that topic. Welcome, Jim.
Well, thank you for having me today.
Yeah. Well, Jim, let's get right down to one of the basics here. For folks who don't actually know Ventura has a racetrack, could you describe the Ventura Raceway?
We hear that a lot, actually, that people don't realize that there's an automobile racetrack at the Ventura County Fairgrounds. It's the main grandstand arena. It's been there for 35 years and actually has a history a lot further. And there's actually a racetrack where the Derby Club is right now, which is the off-track betting facility. And they had a baseball diamond in the parking lot, and they used to run midgets in the 30s and 40s there. So the motorsports history in Ventura goes way back before all these people that complain about some of the noise can even remember. And then they had speedway bikes before that. Mike Doyle is a person I actually bought the rights from 35 years ago. They were running speedway bikes. So it has a history. It was an arena, for rodeo. We took that, and over 30 years, we've turned it into a quite nice dirt track facility. I wouldn't consider it high bank, but it definitely has banks. And we've made a lot of adjustments. So we race hobby stocks next year. We're going to introduce those again. We run sprint cars, which go very fast, midgets, go-karts, dwarf cars, all these cars, they might not know the names, but they're cars that we run. And we've been doing it for quite a long time.
And you're the announcer of the raceway as well, is that correct?
It's a job that I ended up adopting years ago. I had announcers, and I started out doing the on-track announcing and interviews, and I felt that the announcers weren't enthusiastic enough. Some of them didn't know enough about racing, so I kind of grabbed the mic. In some ways I wish I hadn't, because then I'm stuck there all night, but I enjoy the people. It's a people business. It's all about, which I like to think, the reason I'm in racing is because of my father. And my father unfortunately passed away soon after I bought the racetrack, because I thought he and I would do this for the rest of our lives. But I like the father-son, and now we have father-daughter, mother-son, daughter. I mean, the whole family's there. And we start racing them very early in little teeny cars, which are called mini dwarf cars, at 5 years old. So we go from 5 to 75. We actually have senior divisions. So there, last Saturday night, which is a typical Saturday night, we had a 67-year-old man who's a very famous driver in the senior part of his years, driving a Focus midget, which is a very spec midget. And he lost to a 12-year-old. So I told the little guy, Corey Elliott, I said, Corey, you got beat by a grandpa, maybe even your great-grandpa. And it was huge because he got to race against somebody that was pretty famous. That's kind of an unusual thing. So that's what I like probably the best about Ventura Raceway, and is the fact that I see families, I see fathers and sons reacting, because that's what I did with my dad. I raced quarter midgets with my dad in the 50s, and he was pretty much my idol. He was the coolest dude on the planet.
Wow. Well, speak a little bit more about how you and your dad even got to own a racetrack.
Well, it's funny because my life is Ventura. I was born in Ventura, in the hospital here, raised in Oxnard, went to Hueneme High, went to Ventura College. I have a business in Oxnard, a sign shop type embroidery business, and I have the racetrack. So this is it. I'm a Ventura County person. Well, my dad was born in Iowa. Spent some time at World War II, met my mom, but came back here because his whole family moved to the Avenue. And on the Avenue there was a little garage, and he had a cousin that had a midget in the war years. And that was a big deal. There was famous racing. And my dad got addicted to car racing, and that's it. We were car racing from that point on, and as soon as I could drive a car, there was quarter midgets in the 50s. My mom worked real hard so we could have a quarter midget. So pretty much I had Ozzie and Harriet for a mother and father.
Wow.
Can't complain.
Good living. So there's a history of the racetrack that goes back prior to when you owned it, but it was for rodeo when you bought it.
It was a little rodeo arena that once in a while they turn into a speedway. Johnny Mance, he was a famous racer. He built a little speedway bike track there, and he ran it for quite a few years, and Harry Oxley took it over. Harry Oxley was a czar of speedway on the West Coast. And then Mike Doyle, and he had a partner, had it for a couple years, and they didn't do well, and we brought TQ midgets, which we were racing, to the area. And when he couldn't run it anymore, I assumed the responsibilities, and My dad and I thought we could make it a little bigger, and then we did the first time, and then, like I said, he passed away, and I just kept making it bigger till I consumed every inch that they would allow me to consume. And over that period of time, acquired some construction equipment and basically became the person moving all the dirt. And I have a real great rapport with the fairgrounds. It's a lovely, lovely place. I'm very fortunate, man. So I spent a lot of years and a lot of time out there moving dirt and stuff that wasn't involved with the racetrack at all, just the horse area, the arenas, the grass area, because we had equipment, because we needed equipment to maintain it. It's kind of like farming.
Now, when you say you own the raceway, this is a confusion that I have since you just brought it up. I thought the whole grounds was kind of state property.
It is.
It is.
Okay. I own the rights to run the races. I have all the equipment. I built everything except the grandstands, all the fences, all the control fences, you know, the chain link fences, what they call wheel fences. That's to keep everything in. We planted trees around there. We've been very involved. Like I said, I'm very fortunate because the board allows me to do this. That's the Ventura County Fair Board. We become partners in this, and they're great partners, and they've done a lot for me, and I hopefully have done a lot for them. And, you know, just a lot of nice things. You get very passionate. I get angry sometimes because people complain about some of the facilities, whether they be the fairgrounds or not. Are you involved? Do you get involved? I got involved, and I wasn't involved with the fair before that, so I was that other person. And because of the fairgrounds gave me this opportunity to run this motorsports facility, which I'm very passionate about, I felt responsible because I could fix some things by moving dirt and helping, and I have a history, obviously, of being in Ventura County. This is where I've had my businesses all my life, that I have a ton of friends, and I got some friends involved, and we did a lot of things out there to help the fairgrounds. And it's a better place, I hope, because I was there, and the Ventura County Fairgrounds had a racetrack there, rather than it being a negative thing to the community.
Now, do you have races all year long, or is it a seasonal thing?
It's supposed to be seasonal. So we start in March and end in November, and we're down for the fair for that month, you know, because it takes that much now. I mean, the fair is a huge undertaking for the 45 usable acres of the 65 they have there anymore, to bring in that many hundreds of thousands of people that they do, and then put them in, take them out. So I have that period of time, and then they have other events. They have some very big events during the year. One of them is the Highland Games. It's coming up, you know, and it's a big deal. So the Highland Games takes up the whole fairgrounds.
Right.
They have the dog show, which is huge. I mean, that's one of the biggest dog shows on the West Coast. It consumes the whole fairgrounds. So I'm not there those weekends, but I'm there a lot. Used to be there 40 sometimes a year. We're down to about 30 sometimes. Can't race a whole lot anymore during the week and other things. Not just the noise, but people can't get anywhere in Southern California except for Saturdays.
Okay. Now, if someone is watching this program and realizes, you know, I've been meaning to go to the raceway, and they want to go, well, I mean, how would you even suggest to them a specific time to go? Because there's lots of different cars, lots of different races. I mean, you could just say go any time, but is there highlights during the year? Which of them are more special?
Yes and no.
Okay.
And that's determined yearly because things come in and go out. You know, because we have classes that were really famous and not so famous, and like when we were on ESPN. I would suggest checking out our website. First of all, just go to our website, and then go to other websites, you know, check out on different cars, and then call. You know, our phone number's there. Call us, and you'll get somebody who'll be happy to answer questions. We get calls all the time. What are you running? Can I rent a car? Can I just come out here and bring my kid, and can he participate? Can we do this? Can we do that? Now, it's really crazy, but at this little fairgrounds, besides having Ventura Raceway, you have a very famous, well, actually you have two of them now, but a very famous dirt track school, which a young man named Corey Kruzman, who was ranked a few years ago 10th in the United States in sprint car racing. He has a dirt school there where you can do focus, midget, or sprint car, and you can go there and drive. And if you just want to go there and drive, you can do that.
Wow.
We have in the parking lot now Jim Hall. Jim Hall II, his father was very famous for Chaparral cars. He has his go-kart school there, and he has a drive and ride program. So you can just show up there and putt around the parking lot or whatever. It's kind of cool. I've been to Jim Hall's school. It's really hard, and you learn a lot. It's cool.
Wow. Okay, but I just want to highlight something you just said that caught my attention. Can you rent cars?
Actually, Mr. Kruzman created a rental business. He was one of the first guys to do that. Corey's a great businessman, and you can actually go and take some lessons from him and rent a sprint car. That's a 700 horsepower race car, 1,200 pounds. That's a pretty powerful machine. They race about 80 miles an hour around my racetrack. Now, I don't know if you're going to learn how to do it that quick, but there are people that learn. And there's people that have learned to do it, rented a car, and then gone out and bought a car and had a career there. You know, you're not going to make money, but you're going to have a career.
You're going to have fun, too.
We hope a lot of fun.
Okay. You probably got a lot of questions, you receive a lot of questions when people find out what you do, but what is some of the most common questions that you do get?
I didn't know there was a racetrack.
Yeah,
at the
okay,
fairgrounds.
okay.
That's the first thing you hear. A lot of people want to know why you do it, and they think you make a lot of money, and you just don't make a lot of money doing this. The fairgrounds needs their money. You know, there's a lot of things you have to pay. There's purses, and I won't even tell you the staggering amount of money it costs to open the doors on a Saturday night. That's not important. What's important is we put on a decent show for the family. We put on a decent show for the spectators. We give a place for racers to race in a good environment, a safe environment. We pride ourselves in the equipment and stuff we have, and that's what we try to do. So when people want to learn more about the racetrack, why, what do you do this for, that's kind of it. And I feel like I'm the custodian of it, and I've been the custodian for about 35 years now, and maybe in the next few years something will happen and somebody else will take it over. But until that happens, I'm just going to be the custodian, and we've taken it to this level. What's going to happen to motorsports? The same thing is happening with our economy. If our economy gets better, motorsports will get better, but I don't think any of that's going to happen real quick.
Now, we're kind of winding down the show here as we're running out of time, but I would like to see if you might comment on being an announcer. I mean, it's the kind of thing where folks who have any familiarity with racing, it tends to be via TV, and yet here you are, a local TV or a local race announcer. So can you speak to that?
Well, I have my own opinion. Some days I think I'm a good announcer. Some days I think I'm not a very good announcer. And it's really funny because in my situation, what inhibits the announcing the most is the fact that I'm still the owner. I still have to watch the business part. I have to take care of making sure that the officials are doing a good job. And I've been actually accosted in the booth while announcing by an unhappy racer. And I'm used to that. But most of the time I enjoy it because I get to do interviews, just like you're doing. I'm very curious, so I would love to turn the interview around and talk to you and see that I do fairly well, and I've been blessed with that, and that's what I like to do. In other words, I want to talk about other people. I want to find out what makes their life what it is. In other words, you drive a race car, so why do you drive a race car? What do you do during the week? Well, I'm a fisherman. Wow, what kind of fishing do we have out here? Or what are you, and that's what's important. It's a people business, and I've been blessed with that. There are so many neat people that have gone through that facility over the 35 years, some very famous ones. We talked about Jeff Gordon. Tony Stewart used to come and help me announce, believe it or not, when Tony was broke, when he didn't have his hundreds of millions of dollars he has now in his 2 jets. All these famous people there. Jimmy Johnson raced there for a short time. Rick Mears and Roger Mears' kids stopped in when we ran off-road. Parnelli Jones, I'm a personal friend of Parnelli Jones, which is huge for me because he was a great racer from this coast. And so those are the people I got to meet. I've had some people, unfortunately, pass away because of racing, and that's the sad part. But this is life. I'm lucky to have lived it, and I'm just a chubby little kid that grew up in Ventura County that got to do this, so I'm blessed.
Wow. All right, well, we're just about ready to sign off, but if someone did want to find out more, what would be the website they could go to?
Ventura Raceway.com. Funny how that would work, right?
And that works perfect.
Yes, and just check us out, and if you like automobile racing and you want to see something, come to the racetrack. There's a million people that'll talk to you about everything that goes on there. We have some great spectators, great fans, and great racers.
Awesome. All right, well, Jim, thank you very much for stopping by and telling us about the Ventura Raceway.
You're very welcome, and thanks for giving me the chance.
All right.
Thank you.
So this is George Alger signing off for another segment of Our Ventura TV. Until we meet again.